Hey friends, welcome to the Book Barn. I'm Lainey, and I'm so glad you're here today. This episode is a little extra special. Not only are we diving into Theo of Golden, but I've invited a few friends to share their thoughts along the way. And stick around, because I have a very special guest joining me at the end that you won't want to miss. Theo of Golden is the story of an elderly Portuguese man who quietly moves into the small town of Golden. Not long after, Theo discovers something unusual: 92 portraits hanging on the walls of the local coffee shop, each one painted by the artist named Asher. Instead of simply admiring them, Theo takes on a mission to purchase every single portrait and return each one to the person in it. What unfolds is a story of connection, healing, grief, and purpose.
Oh my gosh, I just reread it and loved it just as much as I did the first time.
So I read it. I didn't read it. I listened to it on audio, and I loved it so much that now I'm going to go back and purchase the book. I did love it. You know, you inspired me to read
Thank you.
and I thank you for that. And so I would like to read what you put on Facebook that inspired me to read Theo of Golden.
Okay.
So you said, I just finished one of the most beautiful books I have ever read, Theo of Golden. I highly recommend it. It's not an action thriller, romance, gothic, horror, or humorous book. It's simply a beautiful story with memorable characters. And after reading that, how could I not want to read the book?
That was kind of my goal.
Well done. So I first want to read to our listeners the text that you sent to me the other day. You said, I recently finished the book above, and of course you sent an attachment to the book, and you said you wanted to share it with me. It was a quick listen, read, and the main message was kindness. I had already read it, but that was a great way for me to get you on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that's what I was doing for myself when I sent that message, but it's okay.
I love that you're a guest. That's great.
Hello.
Well, hello there. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is super great hearing your voice again on the podcast. So this is my 50th episode, and you were such an important part of most of that. And so thank you. Couldn't have done it without you. Has life slowed down at all?
No. No, it hasn't. Not really.
I understand completely. So what did you think of Theo of Golden?
Well, this might surprise you. I have some mixed feelings about it.
Fair enough.
I really enjoyed it overall. I'm glad that I read it. I think that it was a really uplifting story about kindness and generosity. And at the same time, I didn't completely love it. I don't know. I felt like it was overly descriptive to me. It just felt a little bit too much. And I think that the book really could have been trimmed probably by about 20%. And I was engaged by the time I got into the chapter towards the end, and I wanted to keep going, but then I'd start a new chapter again, and I feel like we're dragging again. And I don't know, just something was a little bit off for me. But once, like I said, once I got into the chapter, I was invested again. And then by probably about the halfway point, I started really enjoying it. It was an easy read, so I liked that too.
I loved it so much that I would not want them to trim it.
Maybe I had set the bar a little too high with it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm still glad I read it, though.
Oh, good.
So,
good.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a while.
It has been a minute.
So after reading Theo of Golden, I just knew that I had to share it with you. You've been such a prayer warrior for my family. You're such a
Mhm.
blessing to me. And I felt like Theo was a blessing to so many
Mhm.
people in the town of Golden. Did you love it? How'd you feel about the book?
I kind of have tears in my eyes right now, but yeah, it I loved it, and he was precious, and I absolutely loved the book, and I will forever tell people that they need to read that book. And I knew it would be good because you had mentioned it, several times, and I was anxious to read it. It just hit at such a busy time, but man, it was powerful, and it was a very good read.
I think it's probably my all-time favorite book right now, honestly.
Um, I honestly think I agree too, because it's just it's exactly what humankind should aim to be.
So, Theo, did you feel like he was a Christ-like figure?
I didn't think that until about halfway through, but he does reference God a lot. And so he was a very religious man, obviously. And then farther into the book, definitely, but it made me reflect even on my beliefs and that type of thing. But I'm not sure if I'd go so far as Christ-like, but definitely followed the teachings of Christ.
Yeah. And so often, we go to church, we sit in a church, but it's the actions that need to happen.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's what he did. I love that he said to each one, he would attach saint to their name.
Yes,
And I loved
absolutely.
that.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. But even he had anger, and he made mistakes in his life, and he knew that, and he regretted them, but he also knew that he couldn't change what he had done, only what he would do. And that's what he was doing, is he was making, I think, amends for mistakes in the past, and improving not just himself, but all those around him.
Yes.
I don't know. It's almost hard to describe in my mind anyway.
Wow, that's a deep question, but I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I think so, because he portrayed himself, he was kind, he was humble, or he showed humility, I guess you would say, and he was on a mission to help others, which are all attributes of Christ himself.
The way he moved through people's lives quietly,
Mm-hmm.
intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
offering something that they didn't even know they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was like a beacon of light,
Yes.
amid suffering.
Definitely Christ-like. I feel like he's very intentional. He made every person feel like they were the most important person to him in that moment. He was unhurried. He was tender towards people, real. I feel like once people became acquainted with them, it had stirred something up within them to where they wanted to run into him again. They wanted to see him again or have a relationship with him. And I feel like that is what happens after we have an encounter with Christ. There's just that longing to spend more time with him or to get to know him better. So I feel like Theo possessed the same characteristics that Christ does.
So what was your first impression of Theo?
I knew there was some backstory to why he was there. No one just shows up in a little town like that for no reason. And he was a quiet observer. If you remember, he went to the bookstore, he went to the cafe where he saw the pictures on the wall.
And it isn't that it's necessarily sad. There's just so many poignant moments. His contact with the people, unknown how they were going to react, and then just how he dealt with their fears or their anxieties and their happiness or sadness or even anger in some cases.
Yes.
I was just very amazed at how he able to turn that into a beautiful experience.
So Theo, I thought, was incredibly observant. He just really seemed to notice things about people that others would overlook. I thought that he was gentle and kind. I really thought that he kind of had a way of making people feel just really seen. And then at the same time, I kept wondering, why was he so secretive? No one knew about his past or knew anything about him, not even his last name. So it was obvious that there was something more to that story. And I did want to keep going to learn more about Theo.
Sure.
But yeah, he was a really interesting character.
I think that those pictures, it forced him into these different encounters with different people in the community.
Right. And he gained, I think, from those experiences just as much as they did, really.
Absolutely. I think it.
So let's imagine, if we can, that you live in Golden and Asher drew you.
No.
How would you react if Theo had connected, tried to give you the portrait of you? How would that make you feel?
Well, I think I had my initial reaction would be, this is odd, in the
Me
world,
too.
because I'm equating it to the world we live in now, where you have to have your head on a swivel, essentially. But when you think of the deeper meaning of it, I think I would be flattered. I think in the end, I would meet with him out of just pure curiosity.
I'm like a lot of people, I think. I don't like pictures of myself. To be honest, I don't see the beauty that I have other people tell me about. I see flaws, and I'm mostly not even physical flaws, but emotional flaws and things like that. And for knowing what he was doing, that would be, yes, I would want to. I would be very hesitant.
Sure.
I really would be hesitant. Not the idea of meeting a stranger in a public place. That part doesn't scare me or creep me out, but I think my own anxieties I would probably not do it, and it's kind of sad when I think about it, but because I know the beauty of what those people experienced, but I just not sure I could do that.
I think, honestly, in today's world, I would be a little bit skeptical, but I feel like I would have handled it like Annette did in the beginning as the very first recipient. I feel like I would be, hey, John, I need you here with me, kind of be my wingman.
Right.
Because I really want to pursue this. I want to see what this is about. And I would hope that he wouldn't talk me out of it, and that I would be brave enough to go, meet him, because I would definitely be intrigued by it and be curious as to what and why he wanted to meet with me. And yeah, but it is, in today's world, you always view things as sketchy or, oh, that could be so dangerous. And so I feel like there definitely is reason to be concerned in the world we live in today. But yeah, I feel like I would want to definitely meet him and see what it was about. And how he did his homework and, finding out more about the person in the picture and how he just studied the pictures, I found that really interesting. I don't think enough of us take the time in our lives anymore to really study anything. I think we're just constantly on the move, And so the story makes you think about those connections that we're missing.
Right.
Because, we're always in a hurry. We always got to get to the next project, the next event, So
You're right. You're right. Does things slow down a little bit after retirement?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Definitely. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I can't complain. But
the portraits, since you ran a photography business for years and years and years, let's change it to a picture a photographer has taken. Let's say that someone took your photo and they hung it in a coffee shop. How would you feel about that? And is it different between a sketch and an actual photograph? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. How do you think I'd react? I'm going to throw that one back at you. What do you think? What do you think I would?
I think it would bother you, but it shouldn't because,
I
well,
would.
you're beautiful, so it shouldn't bother you, but knowing you well, I don't know that you would like that.
I would not. You are correct. You know me. Yes. I would be like, please don't. Please don't. But I felt like a lot of the people didn't even know they were having their picture taken, and then he was doing the portrait from a photograph. But so I don't even know that some of them actually knew. Yeah, like you said, I'm pretty self-conscious, so I don't think that I would have liked it. I don't think I would have liked seeing myself on the wall. Maybe if it was really flattering, I could feel differently about it, but I definitely wouldn't like being studied or analyzed like Theo did when he stood looking at those portraits. So the photographer and me started thinking about permission. And if someone is displaying or even selling my image without my knowledge, then that opens up a whole different conversation. Because photographers are generally, they have to have permission to use someone's likeness. So I had to like sign a waiver if I was going to put someone, on a website, or if I was just displaying them in my studio, it was different than doing it publicly, in a public place. So yeah, I felt like, some of those people didn't even know. And so I'm like, well, they didn't give permission. So I couldn't help but kind of think of that side of it from like a legal standpoint too. I'm like, I'm not sure that would totally be legal, but yeah. So I had mixed feelings about that. I mean, obviously that was the whole, premise of the book with the portraits. And so it needed to be there. But yeah, as a photographer, I don't know. Not sure how I felt about that.
Theo, he meets so many people, as you were talking about, in these exchanges. What were some of those memorable meetings for you? Which ones really stand out to you?
Well, of course, Annette, because that was his first one.
Yes.
You're on the edge of your seat trying to figure out what his purpose was for purchasing these pictures. And so once the story started revealing, her story, then it all started. I think the pieces to the puzzle started coming together. But that's an interesting one because she was young. She was an accountant, trapped in a career that she didn't like. He became her friend,
Right.
So I think the other one for me, I mean, I liked all of the stories. Kendrick, with the daughter who was hurt and the wife who was actually, didn't make it through the car accident. He not only took care of the little girl, he took care of Kendrick's mother, who was an elderly woman. He, I think, didn't he like take care of her medical care or something too?
I don't remember exactly what he did for her, but I do absolutely remember him going to the hospital and reading to the little girl and taking care of her.
I loved Ellen, the homeless woman with the bicycle.
Yes.
I just thought her portrayal was so vivid, and I could hear her, and the way he dealt with her was incredible, but he didn't change her. And she was her, she'd go off on her rants or whatever, and I just thought she was just a dynamic character in the book.
I was heartbroken when it told of her losing her child.
Oh, yes.
And that's such a hard thing.
Yes.
I'm sure she would not have been able to take care of that child.
Right.
But just heartbreaking. And when Theo told her that she was motherly, it was just
my gosh. Yes. It was just amazing what he could read into these drawings of these people, kind of like when he first started with the very first one, Annette. It was like, wow.
Well, I kind of thought on this one, and I don't really know that there was one particular encounter that really like stood above all of the others, but what I think stood out the most was kind of a pattern that each person had their story, and maybe not every story was the one you expected. And something else that I thought really stood out was that Theo had this deep respect for every person he encountered.
Yes.
And that's kind of the portraits, brought that into the light, that he was just so respectful of everyone, except maybe, well, he lost respect for that guy who smashed the girlfriend's portrait.
Right, right. And rightly
the only one
so.
that he ever spoke. Yeah. So that's kind of, what I just thought about the exchanges that just showed how much he cared about people.
Oh gosh, Ellen's
Oh,
from
Gina.
the
Oh, I know.
just
Me too.
just bless her heart, just how she was sitting so prim and proper, and her attire, how she had prepared, for the meeting, and then of course how blunt she was with him and catching him on his grammatical error in the letter that he had written her. I thought that was funny. And just their exchange and how patient he was with her, even though she was very quirky and obviously different from everyone else, but he was intrigued by her but still treated her with the kindness and the same gentleness that he did anyone else that he met. And then the friendship that developed from that meeting, it was just so sweet, and their time together throughout the rest of the book, and it was really neat. So that was definitely my favorite one. I also liked Kendrick's, just because, first of all, because of what he wanted to do with the portrait. He knew immediately who that would go to. And then I liked the part where nobody had hardly ever called him Mr. before. So he knew there was something that just caused him to feel differently about Theo, made him feel more respected. And then I think their relationship, just took off from there. But those were two of the most memorable ones, I felt like, for me. So he planted the seed, then that person wanted more time with Theo, and Theo, of course, had the time and wanted the time to get to know them better and spend time with them and develop a deeper relationship. So yeah, it was really sweet and special.
If you were writing a book review over Theo of Golden, what would you say?
I thought it was a very well-written book of kindness and generosity. The author did a great job of developing the characters, and how he wove them all together throughout the story. I would say it's just a great read for me.
I love that. Me too. I loved it so much.
Excellent, must read. You will leave the book, I feel like, a better version of yourself, just because you are thinking throughout the book, how can I be more like this guy? How can I be more like Theo? How can I be more intentional? How can I show more generosity? And then I think you're just also, I think he's a good plumb line for all of us, as far as this is what we should try to attain, because he's very Christ-like. I mean, he just is. And I think that if you start each day with the intentions of being that kind of a human being, then I just feel like you're going to lead others to Christ in the long run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like it was excellent, though. And I'm so thankful you asked me to read it, because I don't know that I would have come across it on my own. I'm not sure I would have.
I would probably say Theo of Golden is a heartfelt novel about human connections. The story reminds us that small acts of kindness can ripple far beyond what we ever realize. Theo has a wonderful gift of making people feel seen. And really, I think that's what the heart of the book was all about, was those relationships and yeah, just feeling seen. And so while I did love the message and many of the relationships, I felt that the pacing was uneven. Some sections felt longer than they needed to be, and I occasionally felt myself pushing through pages before getting back to those parts that really drew me in. But once the story picked up, I was completely engaged again.
Well, your review on Facebook was just so well written. I don't know how you would improve that. I really don't, but I'm going to ask you to try. If you were going to say something to my listeners about this book, or maybe even get on Goodreads and write a review, what would you say?
I would say that it's not to be missed, and that to not be thinking that, oh, this is a religious or Christian story or whatever. There is a religious element, but it is not a preachy book in any way, shape, or form. You will fall in love with some characters, and you will wish that they were your friends and your community could have people like those in it. I don't know. It's just, there's just so many parts of it. The beauty of music and art, which I have no talent in either, but I felt like I could interpret the music that was being played and the art that was being described. I felt like I was right there, part of that. And I think the reader will too.
I bet that cello concert was amazing.
Yes, it was. And the surprise elements that were in that concert alone were typical throughout the story. There were small surprises. You know, the man who had the bookstore, Tony.
Yes.
Yeah, every time somebody walked by, and he had something bizarre to say to him about how he was going to go out of business, and it just was humorous, but his character, it was so part of who he was, and I don't know, it's just, like I said, I could go through the whole list of people. I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget anybody, because they were so special, and I'll remember them all. I know I'll remember them forever.
Do you think you'll read the book again someday?
Yes, I do. I really do. As much as I enjoyed it this second time, and it wasn't that long ago that I read it the first time, that I know I'll read it again. I will.
So, what would you rate this book?
Well, I don't know how they rate, but I would say like a 5 out of 5. It's definitely a book that I would recommend. I would recommend it to anyone, young, old, man, woman, it doesn't matter. To me, it's just a good book.
I hope 5 is good, because I would definitely give it a 5.
I would too.
Are we on like stars, or like a scale 1 to 10? What are we?
Let's do stars.
Stars, 5 star.
5 stars.
I could not find a flaw with it. And the author himself was so impressive.
And I think it's a debut novel.
It is. That's what I couldn't believe. I kept turning it back and reading about him. I'm like, what? His first novel? You've got to be kidding me. I was like, this has got to become a movie. It has to be. And then I hope.
Oh my gosh. If it is, I'm coming to Carthage. We're going to watch that together.
And I can't, I hope they do it justice if they make a movie out of it, because it deserves to be told exactly like the book. And I cannot wait to find out who they get to play Ellen.
No kidding.
So yeah, it was a very sweet book. I would read it again and again.
Overall, it is a good book, and I wouldn't have any hesitation recommending it to someone. So I'm going to say round up to a 4. That is my rating.
And now, the moment I hinted at earlier. The characters Theo and Ellen were birders, and I have a very special guest joining me, someone who is beautiful and brave and is also a birder. Hi, Alaina.
Hi.
Guess what?
What?
The book I just read had 2 characters in it, and they were birders. Just like us.
Yeah.
And I bought you a bird guide book. It is National Geographic Kids Bird Guide of North America. And Alaina is going to tell you about her favorite birds. So, Alaina, what's on this first page?
I like it because it's a blue jay.
Are blue jays your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
It says here that they're loud, they're colorful, and they're bossy. Let's see what else we can find in here. Oh, here's another one of your favorites. What is it?
Cardinal.
And what color are cardinals?
Red.
Yeah, that's a pretty bird. And you know where we can find those at?
What?
In Grandma's backyard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Okay, let's see what else we can find.
A hummingbird.
Did you tell me that that was your favorite?
It is.
Yeah, they are so pretty. So pretty. Let's see what else we marked. Oh, there's another hummingbird.
It's really pretty. I like the flowers.
And what color is this hummingbird's head?
Purple.
It is purple, and that's your favorite color. I love it. And, oh.
That one is like called
An Oriole.
an Oreo, and it loves oranges.
It's very pretty. And we're going to go way back in the book. Oh.
It's an owl, and it's one of my favorite ones. It's really pretty.
Grandma likes owls, and I hear them at my house. They live in my barns, I think.
And look at the map.
There is a map on every page that shows us where these birds live, which is super cool. Let's see. Oh, that one's hard. This is Kansas's state bird. It's called...
Kansas's state bird?
Yes, it's the western meadowlark.
Cool.
Yeah. So, could you tell Grandma's listeners the story about the blackbirds that were in your backyard?
Yeah. They were outside, and there was a bunch of 1,000 birds, and they leaved, and they put it on a show for us, kind of.
They did. They came just to see their favorite birders, G Mama and Alaina Kay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So, I think we're done. Do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Can we listen to it?
Before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a Bible verse that was included in the story. Faith, hope, and love endure, but the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13:13. Theo lived this out in such a simple but powerful way. Maybe we don't have 92 portraits to return, but we all have opportunities to show kindness and to notice people and to make a difference in quiet ways. And in that spirit, here are 3 organizations doing meaningful work. The Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. It's dedicated to finding a cure for Parkinson's disease and providing therapies for those living with it. The Blake Birdie Foundation supports families facing pediatric cancer with financial and emotional assistance. The Kids Corral in Oklahoma City. It provides a home away from home for children battling cancer and their families during treatment. Thank you so much for joining me today at the Book Barn. If you love this episode, share it with a friend. I'm Lainey, and I'll see you next time.